Live. What's everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft. This is episode number 66, and I'm joined by a very special guest here. He is your guiding light. He is the governor of BCW. He is America's favorite agent. To me, he's my good friend, AJ Pan. Good evening, sir. How's it going?
Doing good, Ray. Glad to be on. How you doing, my brother? It's been a while.
I'm good, man. I'm glad to finally get you on as well. It's a little hard again when you're an agent, when you're a governor, when you have your own I don't know what to call it now because it's not only an agency, but now you're a guiding light. So you're doing a lot.
I have the Pangregation with me.
Oh, there you go.
So, yes. And the members of the Church of Pan. So yeah, we have a lot of that going on. So
it's a lot. It's a lot to get your time now because it's so many members.
But, making it work.
Hey, that's what I love to see, man. But no, it's been a minute. It's been a while. Finally, we got to see each other 2 shows ago at Titan. Yep, I believe it was Rise of the Titans that we finally got to see each other after this whole pandemic has been just going nuts.
Yeah, we're finally getting back to somewhat of a normalcy. Thank goodness. Good to see everybody again. It was good to see you out, especially in Titan. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, but knock on wood, hopefully everything is starting to go back at least, with wrestling and stuff to a good place, and we're all getting to see each other, give each other hugs, and get back to business, get back to what we love.
Definitely so. But again, before I get into the questions, brother, and all the things I want to talk to you about, I gotta ask you that age-old question I ask everyone that comes on, and that is: you heard the name of the podcast. You heard it's called Respect the Craft. So when you hear that term, the craft, what does that mean for you?
The craft is, to me, the business itself. Not to be cliche, almost like, I don't know if you follow William Regal's tweets and his stuff that he talks about, a lot of like his philosophies on wrestling. That's what I think of when I hear the craft, like just respecting the business, what came before you, all that stuff, but also, just respecting professional wrestling and what we do, what the boys and girls do in the ring. Obviously, you know me, I'm not in the ring as much, thank goodness. That's not my thing, but I respect.
Hey, there was a time. There was a
brief time, but yeah, I'm the agent. I'm behind the scenes. I'm helping everybody get to their position. But yeah, respecting what they do. They put their bodies on the line for everybody. The guys on TV do it for us. So yeah, respecting that is just respecting what everybody does in their ring. Not even in their ring. I mean, not even just the ring, but the miles they travel on the road, the dedication on the training, all that kind of stuff. So it's just, not looking lightly on what it is, and just, not taking it for granted.
Got you. Definitely so. And again, that's one of the things, like, especially not just in the ring. That's one of the reasons even we met was, again, part of BCW and getting to meet toward creative, meeting toward just even every little aspect of it. That's not just the in-ring side of things.
We spent more time in the pizza shop going over future plans than we did an actual show.
Oh man,
that was the time.
Those were good times. I always every time I pass through that pizzeria, I'm like, good times. And again, but that's what it is, and those are the things that I always love. That it's like people that aren't in this side of the business, that it's just the fan aspect of it, that never understand how much goes into that.
Yes,
those little details, all of those things that that everyone thinks, oh, did they even think about that? It's like probably, but it's not going to work out, sadly.
Yeah. People think you just show up to the building and that's it. And no, it's countless hours, days, going over stuff, meetings, texts back and forth. Yeah, when you're on the, backstage side of it. So, yeah, there's a lot, like daily messages and who's
gotta love those last minute cancellations.
Yeah, last minute. Who doesn't want to do what? Who's difficult to work with? But at the same time, the positives are, when you actually see the hard work that or whatever we're thinking of, and you see who you put your faith in are able to execute it in the ring. The vision you have, like, we should do so and so. What you're such and such with X person, and they go out there and they exceed your expectations, and you see the crowd, you hear them go crazy for what just happened. It's all worth it at the end. You think, wow, okay, this is what we do it for.
Definitely so. And here we go. Always love to see their comments. Here we got Wes and Kyle in the chat. They said, hey, bud, AJ Pan, Kyle and Wes say hi. Hope you're doing well. There you go.
Yes, Wes and Kyle are my buddies. Most of the time, Wes, sometimes he has the wrong shirt on. So, but Kyle's my buddy. he knows, who exactly to cheer for when Riley Shepard, Ray Calitри's out there. So he's a good buddy of mine. Wes,
yeah.
we got to get you on the straight and narrow.
It's the gang side of things, man. I get it. He's a good friend of mine as well. So.
I love Mr. Gango.
But no, definitely. And let's talk a little bit about that, because that's also been a thing. When I got to know you, it was more of, again, that agency side of things. You were a lot of the time rolling with these guys right here.
Oh wow!
Again, all love to these guys.
Great picture.
Hey, I was trying to find. I was like, let me try to find one that's everybody too, because again, even guys I've had on the show, I had Mike Law always saying great things about you as well. But I got to ask, how was that you got into that role of wanting to be a manager type and be in that side of the ring?
Just growing up, as soon as I watched it, I mean, I knew early on. I was never really athletic in school and anything. That wasn't just I knew it. I knew my limitations, but I knew I was a great talker. And not even people would just like tell me, like, you have a gift, you're very charismatic, and just like talking to people. I was friends with everybody from grade school to high school. We always laughed. There's a picture in the yearbook of, all the basketball players. And they're taking a picture, and they call me Stone, because Stone Cold, I was wrestling guys. Like, yo, Stone, get in a picture with us. And at the end of the year, they're like, how'd you get in the yearbook with the basketball team? Like, they called me and, wanted me in. Because, I didn't care. I just want to make friends with everybody. I talk with everybody. So, my influences growing up were like Bobby Heenan, Paul Heyman, those guys, Jesse Ventura when he was doing commentary and stuff.
Yep.
Those are my inspirations. And I'm like, oh, these guys, okay, it's not all about the action in the ring. You need a storyteller. You need people who could actually, and there were other guys too. Like at the time, it was more concentrated, like say the Heenan family, where he managed guys like Haku or the Barbarian, where they were great in the ring, but they just did not have promo skills. Or, they really just like do interviews. And Heenan was the guy to sell them and make, just a dangerous combination with them in the ring, him talking for them and getting you invested in their storyline. And that's when it clicked, like, oh, maybe I could eventually do that. That's something I think I could be beneficial to and whatever industry, whatever company that would want me in the future.
Yeah. And
I just, whenever I got the chance, I'm like, hey, listen, give me the ball, give me a shot. If you don't like me, tell me to, I don't know if I could curse on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
Tell me to fuck off.
Like I was telling you off the air with the guest I've had, it's like, yeah, by now this show ain't ever gonna be PG. It's just
I just want to make sure before normally I would caught myself. I'm like, let me make sure.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Say whatever you want, brother. But no, definitely, because that's how I was one of the times first I got to see you was in that managing role. But was it with FWE that you got to start doing that, or is that still you being backstage?
So I started out actually ring announcing in 2001.
Okay.
That was my way to get in the door. A good friend of mine worked for a very small company, IWF, International Wrestling Federation, out of Queens, Brooklyn, New York. And, he was training. He actually trained with Mike Law. That's how I got to know Mike, funny enough. One of my best friends since high school, Carlos Latin Rage. And I asked him, I said, listen, if they ever need somebody, let them know. I would love to try my hand at ring announcing. And they gave me a shot, did a couple of shows. Then they had one show. It was like, for what we, lack of a better term, we call it a spot show, which means it's like just a show. If you don't know, it's a show that's just thrown together. It's matches. There's no meaning. There's no real storyline. And, so if you miss it, no big deal. If you see it, great. You get a great night of action.
Yeah.
So I'm like, listen, there's nothing really going on. Would you mind if I tried managing the show? So like, all right, why not? So you can manage, Carlos and at the time, Sabotage, Mike Law. So they were the enemies of the state. It was a triple threat tag team match, and I guess they liked it. I thought it was good, but because it's better. Well, not always better, but it helps when you're friends with somebody. So like me and my friend, Carlos Latin Rage, had a great connection already. When I first met Mike, actually, because I always tell the story, we're the two idiots at the time that we would get to the building super early. I guess that goes back to respecting the craft. So we would get there before like maybe 10, 11 in the morning when they told us, set up to like 1. So we get there and then like, oh, nobody thinking somebody would be there. Nope, nobody's there. So we just sit and bullshit for 2 hours and get to know each other. And that's how me and Mike's, 20-year friendship started. So
that's great. It's funny when I think about that, because now I'm like, this is why we became friends. Because I don't know if you remember, that was the same how I was when I started working with BCW.
Yes.
Legit,
Yes.
elk setup would be maybe 3 o'clock. By noon, I'm already there.
Yeah.
Like,
and by that time, I knew better. I'm like,
yeah, and it would be like, so I'm alone, huh? Okay. Works.
yeah, that's how I was leaving my job at 3 p.m. because I knew nobody would be there till 5 o'clock, especially at the Elks Lodge.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, we knew better. So, but yeah, so I went back and forth between ring announcing, managing. FWE, they wanted me as a ring announcer to start, so I did that, and I went into backstage later on because the two guys, great guys, but they never really had that much experience backstage. Where even before then, when I was even like in high school, I was helping out in whatever I could do. I was helping with merchandise in independent companies, and I would pick up things backstage. And I had a lot of connections at that time in the industry. So yeah, I was friendly with a lot of people at the time, and they're like, "Oh, how do you know so and so?" Because I've been around for a while, so I know how to deal with people. And it came in handy when they would start to bring in bigger names, and I had a familiarity with them and knew how to deal with them. When they were just like, "Oh, we want you to do this," and sometimes their ideas didn't really make sense.
No,
so I'd be the conduit between both to try to make everything work, and it went from there. And that's when I got my start doing some booking and agenting, producing stuff. So, and then once FWE start was like towards its tail end, I finally got back into managing, and the rest is history.
There we go. Which again, I feel like, I especially say it now, FWE was definitely ahead of its time. With when you look at the talent that was there and all that, I'm always like, if it only was just a few more years, like the things that could have happened. But
yes, although I'm never ashamed or afraid to say, I think we kickstarted the New York wrestling scene again. Yeah, we kickstarted. A lot of people might disagree, but I don't care. I'll say I'll get into it. But FWE kicked the New York wrestling scene in the ass and got the ball rolling for other companies, and to pre-COVID, what it was.
No, definitely, because if you look at, again, just the amount of talent that walked through there. And again, that also sadly might have been the downfall of FWE with the amount of talent that, again, it was high names too. It was like the place to get to see a lot of these guys in the Northeast.
Oh yeah, without question. But it was a great mix too. Like if you look too, like even the younger guys are starting, like VSK is doing his thing now. EJ Risk, who's now Eric James, Mike Lawsell doing his thing. So yeah, a lot of guys besides the big names, the young indie guys have gotten out there. They've been kicking ass. So it is a great place. But also, it was starting. It was a really good mix. Like you had guys like Johnny Gargano, who was he was on that cusp.
He was at that cusp.
The Young Bucks before they really got. They were just big in the West Coast at PWG, and then they got here and slowly
so
yeah, it was a good time. And then we had Drew McIntyre right before he got back to the big times, and yeah, it was a good. And I'm thankful for the lifelong friendships I've been able to make through FWE. Even from guys like Mike Law, Kevin Tibbs, to the Drew Galloway, so I still keep in touch with, and some of the other people, Johnny Gargano's.
There you go. So let's get into that now. Let's get into with BCW. How'd that come about for you?
So a friend of mine at the time who was working there for the company, Pete Rosato, we've known each other for years, and I helped get him started in the industry, and he was doing commentary there, and he wanted me to come in to do some commentary with him for a bit. So it just happened to be for the first couple of BCW shows that I was booked elsewhere, and I got to a week, as we said before the before the show went on the air. Everybody loves to run on the same day. It's the great thing about wrestling. So luckily got to the time where BCW moved to Friday to start helping with that problem a little bit. So yeah, there was a Friday I was free, and came in for a show and do some commentary. And Mike Lowe was on the show, and I asked, hey, I could what I could do it. Can I jump on, managing them for the match, and then I'll come right back to commentary. They're like, all right, we'll try it out. And I clicked with Anthony Cole. He liked what I did at the time. I knew a lot of people backstage. Like even it was a great first time in the company because people I hadn't seen in a while, and they were shocked when I came in. Like, my mind, I like to try to, even though my America's favorite agent is very braggadocious, walking in that building that day. And everybody's like, oh man, AJ Payne's here. What are you doing? I'm like, wow, really? Who am I? she had to do some commentary. But dang it, man, meant
Yeah.
a lot to me at the time. So, but yeah, that was the my first day. I think it was in the first year. Was that October, I believe? Yeah, it was Law and Tibbs against Aesthetic Enterprise and my Massage Envy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So that was Dangerous Intention. I was about to say Cool Intention. That was a movie. Dangerous Intention. So that was my first event.
There you go. Yeah, I think I definitely was there by then. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's probably where we met as well. Yeah. So,
yes.
There you go.
So that was my first event there, and yeah, it went smoothly. Talked to Mr. Cole that day, and I was like, listen, if you need help or anything, I don't know if they told you about my experiences in the business, but I like what you have going on here. I'd love to help out. I see a lot of room for growth. So and he's like, all right, I'll get back in touch with you. And yeah, they called me in, and I went through the many booking committee changes. But hey, we made it to 5 years. That's coming up. So yeah, it's been a wild and crazy ride, but I love Anthony. I still have the same amount of faith in BCW that I had back then, even though a lot of people, they may or may not. And, we, in a way, we're like starting from scratch because of, the pandemic. But I'm excited. And, I'm glad that we're back and we're trying, some different things. But I'm excited for the new direction we're going in. So.
No, definitely. I love seeing what's been going on now. And it's, again, he's not lying when he says the amount of changes that went through. And again, it's one of those, it was the fun times, the good times, but it's also like those headaches that were always the best. But again, that's kind of, it was the growing pains of the company. Because let's also be realistic. It's 5 years now.
Yes.
For it to reach 5 years, that's great. But that's also, again, it's showing it's still relatively even new for that when you look at how companies are. But for it to last these 5 years, and especially we're going in through a pandemic right now, that defeated a lot of companies, sadly.
Yes.
That put a lot of companies down. And to see BCW still standing and seeing again it going in, I feel like it definitely a direction it needed to be able to continue and be able to last like that. So it's been great to see.
Thank you. Yeah. I said if we needed to do this, if we were coming back and kind of start with a blank slate, in lack of a better term. So that's what we're doing. We're trying, and the roster we have now, we're working on getting a lot of new faces are going to come in. We might see some returning faces. So yeah, I definitely, obviously it's a little bit of promotion mode, but definitely, I believe in the product. I believe what we're doing. So now's the time. If you haven't been around, come back. If you haven't checked this out yet, please do on, social media, on Title Match Network, it's match on YouTube. So yeah, look what we've been doing. Queen of the North 3 I love the event itself, and we have Anniversary 5 coming up at the end of the month. So
yep, definitely. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit, but here we go. We got another comment in the chat. We got the boss man himself from Titan. We got Charlie in the chat. What's up, brother?
Says hi to you. Say hi to me. Nice.
Maybe he's not too happy with you because of he might not be too happy with everything going on right now in Titan. So
I don't know why he's not happy. Ray Kalitri, he's all over promoting Titan Championship Wrestling, and once he's the middleweight champion, that belt's going to be all over the world. So I don't know what he's not happy about. Riley Shepard, the Goddesses of War champion, has been all over the place. She's been killing it. So at least my champions are doing their thing.
You know what? We're definitely going to be talking about that in a little bit because I do want to ask you a few things about those matches because I have some questions about maybe, again, your tactics with your champions, if you will. Or not champions yet, champion. Because, again, we have to still wait and see can Ray Kalitri pull the trigger next Saturday.
He's always a champion.
Uh-huh. Well, he is holding a championship at the moment, if I'm not mistaken.
He is, yeah. So that's why I refer to him as a champion.
There you go.
He's my champion.
There you go. But let's keep it going here. Let's see. There you go. He says it will be interesting next week. It definitely will be.
It'll be very interesting. I mean, Titan events are always exciting. I could definitely say that as well. That's another company. It's funny, people. I like to. I'm trying the best way to say this without being too controversial. There's a lot of companies out there that you could work for. You could apply to work for. I want to believe in the company I work for, the companies I work for. That's why, there's a lot of, why don't you try here? Why don't you go here? Why? Because there's a lot I don't believe in. I've been around long enough that there's just whatever, either a certain talent there. I see the way places are booked. I don't believe in them. Titan, I saw what they were doing over the pandemic or right before it, and I really liked what they were doing. So I wanted that's a place. Once things started to get back to normal, I wanted to go to. I wanted to help them with their growth. I wanted to be a part of it as well. I wanted to be part of the team. And I just came, and April was my 1 year anniversary with them. So I've loved my time there. Bit of growing pains with some of my, some of my, I don't want to say followers, but, some of my compadres, we'll say, my clients, because, Ray wanted the agent to come back, and after Vicky slapped me, the agent is back for a little while. That attitude. So I can say my clients right now. But yeah, Titan, I love what they're doing. There's a lot. The crowds are growing. It's a great atmosphere. The crowds are great to feed off of. They're not some of those other crowds you go to where they think they know more than they do when they sit on their hands.
Yeah,
and it's if you're a professional, you go out there, you do your best, and you play with whatever you got. But a Titan crowd is great. They really get behind. They love you. They love you. They hate you. They hate you. But either way, they make noise, and they make you even more excited to be out in front of them. So
gotcha.
You
know what it is, especially being around the Titan crowd. I love that it is that genuine fandom still.
Yes.
And it's something that's kind of it's missed in wrestling because again, don't get me wrong. Again, enjoy the show how you want to enjoy it, but don't feel like again, you're trying to oversell the show if you're not in it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what a lot of fans do nowadays. That it's like they give the 2 cents, but it's like, okay, so you're just gonna kill the whole product. Like
the internet's a great tool, but it also gave a lot of people too much of a voice or too much of also an inside knowledge to what we do.
Yeah.
So that's why I get like a Titan crowd. They just come to enjoy the show. They don't care about who really hates who loves who. They can suspend disbelief for 3 hours that we're providing entertainment for them.
Yeah, that's what you always want to hear. So
it makes it better for all of us. We can go out there and see that.
There we go. Hey, what's up, Tony? How's it going? There we go.
How are you, Tony?
There we go. And here we go. We got Charlie saying, saw the promo from Ray Calitri again. It'll be interesting. Remember, 4 p.m. doors. There we go. Again, we'll be promoting Charlie. Don't worry. We got you. We got the graphics and all that to talk about in just a little bit. Because again, we're going to be talking about this right here. Again, there you go. Your clients, your faces. Whatever you want to call them right now. Because again, it's so ever changing. Let's talk a little bit about that now. Let's get into the character side of things of AJ Pan, and let's go into that evolution for you once you are on that side of now the stage. Because again, from backstage now getting to be in front of the camera as well. How did that evolution come for you character-wise? From America's Favorite Agent to your guiding light and to what you present in front of the crowd?
The pandemic helped actually shape it a lot because it dealt with a lot of personal feelings I was dealing with. I didn't really feel my heart wasn't in much of anything. Like a lot of people, I had no work. I couldn't see a lot of my friends. There was no wrestling. There was nothing really going on. And I was just really just like sitting, like a lot of people, just depressed, wondering what was next, what we're going to do. And finally, it just came a day where I had to make that decision. I'm like, do I want to continue in this? Do I want to maybe make another, I don't know, turn direction in life? Did I have my run in wrestling? Should that have been it? I had a great time. Do I stick in that depression, or do I take whatever energy I have left and try to put it into a more positive spin, a guiding, guiding light? So it's like try to help others once I could help myself. And once, I found the positivity and I said, you know what? I think I still do have a little bit left in my tank. Let me see. If not, I'll give it a couple of months. And right off into the sunset, I had a great run. I did it more than I ever thought I would ever do in wrestling. And it was a little nerve-wracking, trying, because America's Favorite Agent was around for most of my career. Little tweaks here and there, but I tried different things. But the agent has been a part of me. It's really not even I'm a big Entourage fan, but it actually came before I ever saw Entourage, maybe like a couple of years before. And Mike Law actually mentioned the Ari Gold character to me. I still hadn't watched it for a couple of years until I was on vacation one time, and it was on TV, and I put in myself, you got to watch this. And then I'm like, oh, now I get the correlation. And I just started taking little bits and pieces from Jeremy Piven's character. But so when 2020, 2020, 2021, I decided, look, maybe let's try this, and I could help bring some kind of positivity, not only to myself, but then whoever I was going to work. I don't even know who I was going to work with at the time. I just put it out there to see if the character was going to resonate with some people, or they were just going to say, what are you doing? No, go back to the agent, put your hair down, stop this. And got a reaction, and I felt better about myself actually just doing that, because from what I was saying, I actually did realize, hey, it's kind of what I've been doing. The guiding light actually kind of, because I led my people to championships, but it's just more of a heightened perspective now.
Okay, gotcha. No, that works. Then again, I wanted to ask because it was interesting to see the change, but also again just how it's presented. So again, it's still you, knowing you how you are. Real.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's a little bit of a fine tuning to get, okay, this is what we want to present now, which I like. But
yes,
it's translated well. And again, getting to hear the reaction, that's what you always want to know, to know, okay, something's going there. That's what we love to say. Yeah. And here we go. We got Wes and Kyle saying they're glad you stayed. That's always good. Again, I'm glad you stayed as well, because again, always love seeing you around.
Thank you. Yeah.
But
happy to still be around. Causing trouble.
Hey, that's I guess that's what we should start talking about, because again, you are trying to stir a little bit of a trouble next Saturday. So let's get into that. So here we go. We're going to be talking about American Spirit. Once again, we're talking about hopefully adding another championship into the fold here, which some reason the graphic does not want to work. I'm not sure why. But we're going to talk about this man. You know what it is? Someone hacked into my system. They don't want to show it. But we got Ray Kalitri there. We got the Shining Star. We got him there. So let's talk about that. He's looking to finally become the TCW middleweight champion. This has been announced as his final shot by SP Anderson. Even when he came on the show, he said this would be his final shot. If he's not able to win it this time, then I'm not sure what Ray Kalitri would do next. Well, let's talk about that. Your thoughts on this, which I'm imagining you're going to think this is long overdue as well. So let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, it is long overdue. We've been working towards this for about a year since Ray came in, and time after. It's funny that SP and me and SP had a decent relationship, but it's funny he wants to say it's the last opportunity, because this is Ray's first opportunity. Every time he's had a shot at going towards a middleweight championship, has been in 3-way matches, in fatal 5-way matches. It's been in ridiculous situations. So that right there is that's one part of it. I'll say we haven't had the best of luck against Rick Recon, but I'm going to say this right here. Rick hasn't beaten us. Other forces have beaten us. The first match I've had, you had a 9-year-old come into the ring and count the 1, 2, 3. I still don't understand how that stands in the record books, but whatever. It did. We got past it. Next time they fought, it was me and Ray got in each other's way. That was our fault. We had a miscommunication. It wasn't Rick. He took advantage. And kudos to you. I've known Rick for a while. He took advantage of the situation. Can't blame him for that. But he didn't outthink us. He didn't outmaneuver us. He took advantage of a situation that me and Ray created. This time, there's no 9-year-olds at ringside. There's no Mark Schwann. There's going to be no... Me and Ray are on the same page. We know it's make it or break it for us. Me and Ray are... He's, besides being one of my top clients, he is one of my best friends. He's one of the few that stuck with me through the pandemic and told me not to give up. And we have a lot left to do. And I was the same for him when he was just coming back from an injury. So this is no BS. Me and he's one of my best friends. And I want this for him. It's not to add to my collection, to add to my legacy in wrestling of managing people or leading people to championships. Ray deserves this. He makes the towns. He's everywhere promoting. It's a shoot. He's in Egypt. He's in all over the place. He's Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, Mexico, whatever other championships he's held. He brings them with him. He trains. He competes for the companies with the titles on the line. He will do that for Titan Championship Wrestling, and he is going to do that once he defeats Rick Recon at American Spirit.
There you go. And okay, so this is something now, again, eventually we are going to have Ray Kalitri on the podcast. We already started those little bit of conversation and rumblings, but I'm going to bring this up to you. And again, if you pass the message along, If you don't, maybe it's a little better because Ray Kalichi might not be happy with what I'm about to say. Because I said this on one of the panels we had with SP and with Rob from the Bob Culture podcast. And I stated this at the end when we were promoting one of his matches that I get it. He loves to travel. He is a world traveled shining star. He's the international shining star for a reason. But is that maybe why he hasn't been able to win the gold? Is he taking a little too much time living the lavish life and not perfecting his craft?
Well, if you follow Ray, that's not the truth, because wherever he is, he competes there as well. He has competed in Egypt when he's there. He competes in Mexico. There is footage. He has competed in there. So he's taken all of these other styles. He's learning them while he's there. He's not just going riding on camels and going by the pyramids. He's competing. He's perfecting his craft. He's bringing stuff back to the U.S. that you haven't seen. He just competed against Negro Casas not so long ago.
I'm just saying because again,
he's training. He was training in Egypt. He actually led a class in Egypt. So Ray Kalichi, he's not just living the high life. He's perfecting his craft. He has a great balance of having a great time, living his international lifestyle, but also staying true to who he is and keeping his eye on the prize, which is bringing gold back to his house, bringing back to where we are.
Okay. Again, I just bring it up because, like I'm saying again, it's taken so long to finally get this close once again to that middleweight championship. So I'm hoping he's perfected his craft here. So again, if it's his last shot, hopefully he takes the opportunity here. He's able to do more than just have the title match and walk out champion.
Oh, I don't know if the last two events at Titan Championship Wrestling, there's been more killer instincts. Even I've still told him that. Yeah. I've watched the replays and I told him, I said, this is the Ray Kalichi we need. I said, you come out and you're a little, you come out with the arrogant side, but you're still suave. Now I see the anger. I see the fire in your eyes. He knows that he has to take full advantage of this opportunity. He has to finally make that statement in Titan Championship Wrestling that he wants to be the face. He's spoken to a lot of guys in the back, and they've told him either somewhat similarly or told him, listen, you could be a superstar. You can be a star here. And he realizes now it's his time. If this is going to be our last opportunity, he's going to make the most of it, and he's going to walk out as the TCW middleweight champion. And then it's going to be all over the country and all over the world.
Again, hopefully so. Again, I must stay neutral because, like I told you off the air, I'll be there that night. Yep. Not only because SP Anderson has appointed me the guest GM for the night, but also I'll hopefully be calling his match right down the middle. I'll be on commentary with Rob and all them, which Wes just said. In line. Well, he says Rob needs to see the guiding light.
He does.
I saw you at Rise of the Titans. You kind of took his position there. You just said he could go do whatever he wants to do, and you're going to call the match with Daniel Alexander and Rick Recon.
Yeah. Rob Williams, he's not the most unbiased person in the world. He needs, Alphonse, I love you. If you're watching, Alphonse, you're a great dude. Always thank you for your support. You're my guy. But Rob Williams, he's horrible. He's horrendous.
Oh man, poor Rob. But hey, now let's
poor Vicky. I gotta say, even though she slapped me, poor Vicky has to put up with him.
I was gonna say Vicky is not your biggest fan either, but. No, and she's definitely gonna have her eyes.
We did win wrestling trios fashion, so even though she slapped me, she has a little piece of my heart for that. We have a bond and being fellow Pisons. But besides that,
Well, I know she's definitely gonna be watching this next match we're gonna talk about because it will be the Goddess Championship on the line. As not only has TCW made this matchup, but D365 has brought in the challenger here, as it will be Amanda Fuentes. She gave a very ferocious promo, if you will. Again, making her statement why she's going to come into TCW and not only make her debut, but walk out Goddess Champion. Your thoughts on Miss Fuentes' comments?
I give it to Amanda Fuentes. She's, I'm glad Titan is lining up competition for Riley so she can prove that she is one of the best. Kevin Astor's comments, that on the other hand, I've been saving my thoughts on that. This dipshit coming on, talking about how, I love how he's, Titan is asking him to feed people to Riley, which that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, because Riley has battled. She has clawed her way to where she's been. She was an afterthought for the longest, along for the shiny new things at the time. Vicky came in, Notorious Mimi came in, and Riley was forgotten about, because she's the geek. She's the gladiator of the geeks. She's old reliable, at least in their eyes. And it was time for her to stop being such a sweet person. She realized that she had to get that aggressive side, and then everybody's, oh, why Vicky? I mean, why Riley? Why? Because you all turned on her. So she had to fight for everything. For Kevin Nash to come out and say, she's been taken care of by Titan Championship Wrestling is ridiculous, and shows he should stick to bending and go to conventions. Maybe he should stick to a feud with Richie DiGregorio or Eric Sims. Don't talk about the competitors in the ring. And he has a contract for 2.5 years. I've never seen him at an event. I've been there for a year. But Amanda Fuentes, I have respect for her. It's going to be a fantastic match. But Riley, this is the realm of Riley you're stepping into. You're not just stepping into the Titan Nation. It's the realm of Riley. She's the goddess of the geeks, the gladiator goddess. She's beaten. Look at her, Vicky, in the last woman standing match. Lady Frost, Nikki Duke, JC Storm. Those are no slouches. Amanda Fuentes, she'll be no different. Great match, but she will go down and bend the knee to Riley Shepard.
Well, then there you go. And here we go. We got West saying they love the new attitude. There you go. I'm not sure if, again, I'm gonna stay neutral because of my commentary obligations, but I'm not too sure if everyone is approving of her new attitude. And I have to ask, how did this come about with you two? Because last time I checked as well, Riley wasn't your biggest fan around. So how did this come about that she followed the pan congregation here? How did that come about? There you go.
Again, it came to the point where she realized something needed to change. Me and Riley go back to almost right after she started her journey in pro wrestling. So, as we may have been on opposite sides of the corner sometimes, I've always respected her. We were friends at a point. Professionally, we had different interests, but I've always been a fan of hers. We did commentary at a time in BCW. I was always a champion of hers, no matter what, when she was injured, and after I said, we have to find, something for Riley to do while she's out. We can't let her get forgotten about, even though I might not have liked her professionally at the time. Personally, I didn't want her to fade away. And unlike people, and a lot of people who don't do their homework, didn't realize that we had been friends for her entire run in pro wrestling. So this did not come out of nowhere. It just finally came to a point where I pulled her aside, and she was starting to kind of, she didn't know what to do. And I said, listen, if they're not going to cheer for you anymore, you don't need them. They're not going to help you. You have to help yourself. And once she did that and she realized that, things started going more her way. She got more opportunities. And now she's the Goddess of War champion, along with competing in other big stages, along with Titan. So, the people, we love the people. They, it's great that they're there, but they're not always going to be there for you. You have to be there for yourself. Riley realized that. She saw the light. The rest is history.
Hey, there you go. Again, I can't blame her. Again, looking out for the betterment of her own career as well. Can't fully blame her on that. But I know not everyone is going to agree with the tactics or the ideologies, if you will. But again, it's business. Okay, that's kind of how it goes. Yeah. But now let's go into the anniversary show. Let's talk a little bit about that. I know Mr. Cole is going to be watching and definitely going to want to hear our thoughts on this. So let's go into a matchup I definitely know you're going to have not only your eyes on, but you're going to be right there, possibly ringside, because you're going to want to protect this investment, as it will be for those BCW Tag Team Championships. The newly crowned BCW Tag Team Champions, Blonde Force Trauma, taking on a very world travel team in the Hex. Talk a little bit about that here. And how did that alignment come with you and Blonde Force Trauma?
Well, myself and Ray Lynn from Queen of the North too. I brought her in for that, and we kept a relationship. We kept in contact, so she was a part of the PCA at the time. and we were coming back. We were discussing different things, and I saw her team with Heather Monroe. I've known Heather for quite a few years. We never worked together, but we met actually outside of wrestling. And when I saw them join together, the light bulb went off, and I'm like, now might be the time to get them in. Queen of the North was our next event, and why not get them into BCW? I had made a promise to Ray Lynn that I would make things right from the previous Queen of the North and get her a championship match. So as the governor, we were looking for a tag team to face the East Coast Syndicate, or Fight or the Die, I believe their name is now. And we wanted the best competition for BCW. And now we have your new BCW World Tag Team Champions, Heather Monroe, Ray Lynn, Blonde Force Drama.
Hey, there you go. And again, that's usually it's those magic moments again. Like, never knew if it would have worked out, and boom, now they are your tag team champions. Again, they're facing the Hex. Definitely, again, a very not an easy going for their first defense right there. And what would you for the 5th anniversary show as well?
I mean, it's not their first defense. They actually just defended the championship at WrestleRex.
Oh, there you go.
Yes,
sorry
and they
about
defended them against Danny Moe, who won our Queen of the North tournament.
Okay.
And Zoe Sky, the Shimmer champion.
Oh,
so no slouches there. I mean, not that I had any doubt, but yeah. So, and we want the best competition. It's anniversary. We don't want cheap wins. We want to beat the best, so that way we want our names in the press. We want to be on all the websites, on all the sites. Pro Wrestling Insider, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. We want to see that. So when Blonde Force Trauma defeats the former, NWA Women's Tag Team Champions, in the Hex, it's going to be all over the place. Nothing taken away from them. Marty Bell, she's been there before. She's a fantastic competitor. Allison Kay, I've been a fan of hers for years. She's the real deal. They both are. But I have all the faith in the world in Blonde Force Trauma. They are killing it right now. They are, as they like to say, and I love to say too, they are legends.
Again, we're gonna love to see that at the 5th anniversary show. And again, that's what you want for the 5th anniversary. You want to showcase the best of the best going at it. And again, prove the champions are champions for a reason.
Yes.
So there you go. And here we go. I guess Wes and Kyle, unfortunately, will not be able to make it to that one, but hopefully for the next few. Again, it's just the beginning. That's what I always loved about anniversary shows. It was almost that dawning of like, this is now going into this era now.
Yes.
Of the company. So that's always what you love to see. But now let's talk a little bit about this, because I want to hear your thoughts, because there's a lot going on with this championship match. There's a lot of where the belt has been. Again, your relationship with Riley Shepard. I want to hear your thoughts on the BCW Women's Championship. Again, newly crowned as well. Ruthless Lala finally becoming the BCW Women's Champion. And she's been on a roll as well with that championship, defending it everywhere she's gone. But now she's kind of missing something.
Yeah, the situation is out of control. Talk about the match itself first. I mean, I'm looking forward. It's going to be a fantastic match. This has been building since Anniversary 4, when it was Vanity versus Riley Shepard, and Ruthless Lala interrupted that match and staked her claim to the BCW Women's Championship at Queen of the North 3. It was supposed to originally be a triple threat match for the championship. We had to change date due to COVID, and Riley was not able to compete. She still had that opportunity. It's coming in now with the new champion now, Ruthless Lala, and she's been doing so much with it. She's been going all over the place, super crazy. All the Titan, she defended it against Luscious Latasha. So, but yeah, we got to the situation of where Lala stole Isaiah Wolf's PWR champion, his championship, and then Isaiah now has he has possession of the BCW Women's Championship. I'm not happy about that. I spoke to Mr. Cole. He came to visit at Titan at the last event at Devastation Destruction, and we saw as you saw, there was a big battle in the parking lot there between Lala and Riley, because in Riley's mind, Lala allowed it to happen, and Isaiah's taking quote-unquote dingling photos with the championship, or the shiny, whatever she likes to call it.
Yeah.
And it's just a mess. I'm letting Anthony Cole deal with that. I made my comments stated there, and I've made a few on Twitter in the middle of it, but We just need the championship back. So I don't care how it gets settled. That is our championship. It's the BCW Women's Championship. I'm proud of our women's division. So Cole needs to get on this. Isaiah Wolf, I don't know what you got going on, but the title needs to be returned to BCW. And that's our property, or else, they want to settle things the way they do. If I need to get my lawyers involved, I will. Take it the way they want to. I don't care. I'm by the book. I'll get lawyers involved.
All right, there you go. Again, this has been a situation all over the place, because I saw it Pro Wrestling R as well. Lala's taking their heavyweight championship. So that's been a whole just madness sort of things. But yeah, I had to ask your opinion on this, because again, you're the governor here. So that women's championship, I know it's a valuable asset to the BCW roster.
Oh, it is 100%. I mean, all of our titles, but like so, as you know, I've been a big proponent of the women's division and the women athletes in pro wrestling. Yeah, and to see what's going on with that championship is it's disappointing, and it's frustrating, because we worked so hard to do that, and now Isaiah Wolf is taking our championship all over the place and making it a joke, which I do not look at it as such. I know a lot of the women who have been champion, who are competing for the championship, do not look at it as a joke. So a lot of them probably have some feelings towards that as well, and we'll see what happens. But it better be returned by Anniversary 5. If Cole doesn't do something, I will get attorneys involved.
There you go. Hey, again, hopefully so. That's definitely going to be a show you guys are not going to want to miss, because, again, it's a whole day affair as well. Just announced recently, it's going to be not only BCW's 5th anniversary show at Ridgefield Park, but then after the effect, go watch SummerSlam with some of the roster. Going to get to see some of your favorites there, having a good time at Hooters. I saw Jimmy J promoting it. He's been going wild about some things at Hooters. So we'll be seeing how that's going to go. It's a SummerSlam party, guys. So go have fun as well.
It is the biggest party of the summer. Hooters. I might have to dust off the Hooters blazer again and bring that out for the event. It'll be a good time though. Have some wings with us, have some beer, enjoy SummerSlam. We had one last year in Queens, a viewing party. That was the last one Jimmy J was able to do, and we had a great time. So yeah, come see Anniversary, come out afterwards, hang out with us, and watch SummerSlam. Jimmy J always puts on great events too, so we'll have some games, so give some stuff away. We'll see who's going to show up, from our locker room. It'll be a good time. Come out and enjoy. Definitely
so. Can't wait to see all that go down. Definitely. Because it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time, guys.
It's definitely. If anybody wants to have shots at me, come on. We'll do some fireball shots,
Okay, let's not try to start that competition, because we'll like our fans to still have livers by the time this ends.
I mean, hey, it's a watch party, There's no in-ring action, so I'm free to mix it up a little bit. You know me.
Hey, again,
you've seen me in action, so it's my kind of atmosphere.
Hey, gotta love it. And here we go. We got Wes and Kyle loving the women's division as well. See, again, we got all support for women's wrestling. Gotta love that. But again, let's also talk about some other activities, because I've also seen you also, again, at the commentary booth at certain places as well. Let's talk. How'd you get into that, doing commentary as well? Because you told us you started with ring announcing, then doing more of the backstage. But where did that love for commentary as well, to be able to tell that story and do what you do behind the mic? How did that come for you?
Like I said, Bobby Heenan is one of my major influences. Yeah. So I loved watching him growing up and seeing, like, on Wrestling Challenge, how he would be doing commentary for, most of the show, and then he'd go to ringside and manage Mr. Perfect, the Barbarian, or somebody, he'd go around and do that. So, and commentary again. So I'm not the most physical guy. So watching and seeing, it's not just the storytelling in the ring. It's not what they do. And a lot of it gets lost on people sometimes with commentary. And I can understand why with some companies, even the major ones, but a good commentator, play-by-play and commentary team, they help advance stories. And, I love that, in the middle. So, like, if you're watching them, even if they can make a boring match much more entertaining, whether it's advancing the story, throwing in a couple of jokes here and there, or helping advance a person's character per se. There's a lot of different things that go into it. So I really enjoyed what they could do in that art. And I haven't done commentary as much, but getting able to try and perfect that, or at least get better each time. It's a lot of fun to do. And now I'm getting a chance to work with Cheyenne Ortiz quite a bit. We've been friends for years, and we worked once together for Five Boroughs Wrestling.
Oh, there you
go.
Never
worked together again. But then later on we realized we were actually neighbors. We lived, 10 minutes from each other. and more of our bond grew, and we just like, somebody's got to book us together. We want to work together again. And just by Upper Limit was the one. They're like, oh yeah, so we heard you two, did stuff, and they gave us a testing. We did some pre-tapes, and they're like, are you sure you haven't worked together in 5 years? You guys are amazing together. I'm like, well, we've been friends, and we just want to do it, and you gave us free reign to have fun with it, so that's what we're doing. Like, no, we love you guys. So that's where that went, and we have trust enough in each other to not go over the line, but trust each other to tell our sides of the story, know when to call what, not step on each other's toes too much, but also have a little fun, try to crack each other at certain points, just making an all-around good time for hopefully everybody watching, and for ourselves at times, so, but it's been enjoyable. We've got great feedback from everybody, so it's a lot of fun to be doing that as well. And going back to your earlier question with the evolution of the guiding light, I wanted to try my hand at different things, because I used to run myself right, like BCW. I was managing, I was helping out with you guys backstage, I was on commentary, and it was like that's where it kind of brought me to, like, I need a break. I don't know if I could do this all the time. So now Titan, I strictly, I manage, I agent at ringside to help guide people. Upper Limit, I mainly just doing commentary. Once in a while, I'll support some of my favorites from the commentary position, and who knows what'll happen there. BCW, here and there, I mainly, I try to stay away too much. I'm at ringside for maybe a match or two, helping out backstage, maybe do one match on commentary, just a match I really want to see and to help out at the booth. But yeah, I just had to pull back because it runs. It's fun, but during the day it runs its toll on you, because you don't know. You think it's just doing. Even if you just hear those 3 jobs, you think it's just that. No. That morning, you're getting messages from a promoter, from wrestlers, from referees, from everybody. There's been time my days have started at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm waking up to either somebody having a question about what they're doing, somebody can't make it now all of a sudden, to then traveling to the building, getting to the venue, and different meetings and making sure everything's going to go smoothly. And then, who's running late? Who's stuck in traffic? Who didn't show? Do we have anybody here who can get into that spot? Who doesn't want to do what's on the, what's going on tonight? And then finally performing in front of the crowd. And that takes a lot out of you too, because you have to be a different person somewhat, and you have to put all your energy into entertaining the crowd. And by 11, 12 o'clock, you are spent, and you can't even enjoy what just happened sometimes. And yeah, there's a lot people don't realize. But I again, like you said, we wouldn't trade it in for anything. The next day, it's like, I wish I could do, 3 or 4 times a week. I would.
No, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think that's what, especially for me, that's what always ends up bringing me back. Because I always say, I'm like, I was this close, and they just brought me back in. And it's that love for just the feeling after, like, you know what, we did it. It worked. And that's always what I loved about being in the business. Like, it's again, from whatever position it is, it's like, again, it's a lot that goes into it, but seeing the reaction from the fans, seeing how much they appreciate and love what they do. And again, even this comment right here, seeing what Wes and Collar saying this is why they appreciate all of us. To me, that's what makes it worth it. Seeing that is what makes it worth it, because you get to see, hey, it isn't for nothing. It's not the guys putting their bodies on the line for this. It's not just the hours of having to study all this. It's like, no, it makes it worth it. Getting to see their reactions and getting to see them enjoy what we do.
Oh, exactly. There's so many things that make it worthwhile. Like I say, seeing people, like Kyle and Wes and Chucky Ireland and and Chloe, people like that, and to see the way you can affect their lives. So like, even like we've talked about it too. I've seen you talk about, we've been hit with depression, and there've been times, I've spoken about it on different podcasts I've done, on interviews, that there's times where you wonder to yourself, when you get stuck in that rut, and we kind of think that we're just another one in 3 billion that are out there, like, oh, we don't matter to people. But there's a handful of people that when they see us for once a month, or every couple of weeks, and we can make a difference in their lives and help bring a smile to their face, it makes it all worthwhile. It really makes, and it makes you it helps us as people.
Yeah.
Like, wow, we're actually, the little things that we're doing is actually helping other people while you're helping us. So you know, that's always great. And there's been a lot of friendships that people I probably would have never met if it wasn't through wrestling. You know, like
Same.
a lot of the guys I've managed and people I've just other people in the locker room that I've run into, and I've made a lot of friendships that I most likely would have never made if it wasn't for pro wrestling. And no, it's true. Like, I look sometimes and I think, I'm like, where would I have met this person? Where would I have met extra, or her?
No,
never
definitely.
would have met. And I have some of my closest friends and who've been there with me through some of the toughest times, and people who've been there more than sometimes some people I've known for 20, 30 years since grade school. And wrestlers, male, female, or, commentator, anybody involved in the wrestling industry that have been there for me in times of need. So I have those relationships. I have wrestling to thank for that. So, yeah.
No, definitely. And that's always the biggest thing. And again, I always say it's always crazy to think back. It's for me now, it's going on 7 years being able to be part of this and seeing just, again, the people I've gotten to meet and people I always look back at. I'm like, I've grown up watching a lot of these people and getting to now say, oh, I worked with these people. I'm getting to now call matches with these people. It's insane. And it's giving that, like, you know what? Hey, I never would have done this without being a part of this and not just staying away from it. Like,
100%. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, like I said, I never would have met Mike Law. Mike Law is one of my best friends of all this time.
I love that guy. That's one of the best.
I want to give it, just off the top of my head, LDC from upstate in Buffalo, New York. He works for a X-Side couple of companies. We feuded a couple of years back in ECWA, but it became a very close friend of mine. Jimmy Conway. Another great. Love him. So, South Place Finest. And, we also we feuded together too.
I was going to say that was funny because it's like, I remember so many matches with PCA and South Place Finest.
Yeah, we feuded, but we became, good friends. So I want to give them a shout out outside of the normal suspects, like Az, Mike, Ray, Riley. But so it wasn't, good people that you never would have met. And, your lines just, parallelly cross. And got to thank pro wrestling for that.
Definitely so. But again, before I let you go, brother, because I don't want to take up too much more of your time, let's talk about, again, we talked about it off air before, about you starting your own podcast. You got into the podcast game as well, which I should have warned you, don't do it. It's the same headache as being in the biz, but hey, let's talk a little bit about that. How'd you get into wanting to do the podcast, and tell us a little bit about it.
So the project itself, the podcast, it has so many different variations through the years. I wanted to do a project similar for, I'd say, a good 15 years. It was going to be Advent. This tells you how far it goes. It goes like a web zine. It was going to be. And it was, started off as going to be like more focusing just on like New York City nightlife with interviews with like managers of bars, bartenders, having some of my, friends do reviews on bars and compile like a huge listing that would go on over time of just, their reviews of, bars and giving ratings and just, links to websites and stuff. And life got in the way. That got pushed aside. Back in 18, I wanted to revive it, and I wanted to do it as a vlog. And I did one episode with Ace Andrews. Too good. Shout out my brother. And it was a fun concept. I enjoyed it, but it also, as you just alluded to, kind of a headache because you needed to depend on, scheduling the person, getting a venue. And then, of course, with a vlog, it's tough because who wants to appear on camera? You got to get somebody to film it. And it turned into a mess. So then, and that kind of, so I had episode 2 scheduled right before the pandemic. Literally, it was going to be that St. Patrick's Day week, and the world shut down. So well, there goes that. Okay. I was never really into podcasts before because I'm a very visual person. And during that time, there was no new live programming on television. There was nothing to keep stimulated. As I mentioned, I'm a huge Entourage fan, and I happened to be on Instagram, and I saw that 3 of the guys who were on it and the creator were starting a podcast. Kevin Conley, Kevin Dillon, and Doug Ellen. They started Victory the podcast. And just one night, I was like, let me just listen. I'm in bed. My thoughts are in my head. Let me just put this on and see what a podcast is all about. And just hearing them tell stories and just like closing my being in dark and like the way they did it, it was like almost like being in the room with them, and it made me feel, like really good. Just like have that reaction, and just like have something new to keep my mind busy, but like feel like I was part of their group. So I've been a fan for now they've been going on 2 years, and things were COVID was kind of one of the variants was kicking back up earlier this year, so things were starting to slow down just a tiny bit. So I just put the thought in my, it's like, maybe I could start a podcast. I'm like, there's nothing really going. If things are slow, this is kind of easy. I could just looking up things. I'm like, oh, I'm just starting out. I'm looking to have fun with it. I'm not looking to, hey, we've got some sponsors. Great. If things hopefully it takes off. But for not, let me see if I can combine everything I was doing before and work it into a podcast. And yeah, just looked up some stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty easy to do. I can do it on my phone. Can get some, get some mics, and okay, I'll try do a spin on it. Just take it out to bars I go to. Somebody's around. Hey, do you want to come on and do the podcast? If I know a bartender friend I know, or if I'm out one of the boys or one of the girls, like, oh, you want to sit down for 20 minutes and record something? And that's where that came about. And yeah, try to do again, like you said, it gets stressful. This I'm trying to have fun with it. So if I can have a guest every week, great. If not, I'll do a very abbreviated episode one week and just talk for 10 minutes about something, because it's tough doing something just by yourself, and I don't know who wants to hear me talk by myself for 45 minutes. So
yeah, see, this is what I love that you do that, because with this, like I messed myself up that I decided to do 2 versions of this podcast. I do the one here that's the one with a guest, but then I also do my full card breakdowns that I'll do alone. But I'm like, I feel like no one wants to just hear me. So I'm like, I can never do just a solo episode. So it's that of like, I have to find a guest. Like it's always that.
It's definitely tough. So I decided I'll just do abbreviated episodes. I'll try and think of just a random topics. Like a couple of weeks ago, I did mental health. But I want to try to keep it light. So like I'm taking, requests. So if anyone wants to hear something for those episodes, but otherwise I'm just, if I can, try to stockpile the interviews and air them as is. But, just having fun with it right now. I'm not taking it, to heart. I just want to enjoy, and I've been getting good feedback with it. So it's been a lot of fun.
No, definitely. Again, guys, the link to it as well is going to be in the description down below. Made sure to plug that in there, because again, I've definitely been listening.
Yeah, throw the name out
there. You go. Definitely so. But definitely, guys, check it out. We're gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to talk to AJ after this and plan a date so I can be on as well.
Yeah,
we'll have a few drinks together.
Have you out. So. We still haven't had a drink together yet, I don't think.
No, I think at one of the meetings we did, but we haven't had like an out and go drink.
Out yet.
Yeah. Or at least that I should have been drinking at the time, but we'll
yes.
talk about that at another occasion.
Yeah, we had a lot of drinks during those meetings.
Yeah, but let's, again, not to take too much more of your time, brother, I got to ask you, and then now the final question I ask everyone that comes on, and that is, for AJ Pan, what is the end goal?
Ooh, that's a good, it differs, I guess, as of right now, I'll say, as of right now, going everything I've been through, I've done a lot more than I ever thought I would. So I'm going to try to keep it with the way when I came back in 2021, just my goal was to just have fun and keep doing it until I don't have fun anymore. I got into wrestling because it's something I'm loving, I'm passionate about, and kind of the only thing I've ever been passionate about, really. So I want to enjoy it. When I thought of leaving, my heart wasn't in it anymore. I didn't even want to watch it on TV for the most part. I was getting bored with everything. I just got tired of seeing a lot of things going on professionally in independence and just the way I felt. And finally, just thankfully, I got the fire again, and I've been having a great run. I've been having great times with old friends, made some new friends, new companies I've worked with, getting new blood injected, just new fire injected into me. So going back to what we said a few moments ago, as long as I can keep bringing smiles to people's faces or just giving them something to react to. If you hate me during those 2 hours, thank you. At least I'm getting some kind of reaction. If I can give you some kind of reaction, I love it. And at least if I could give you that, you talk, later about me, say, oh, that guy was such an asshole. I hope he gets his ass kicked. Great. If somebody says, this guy's he's horrible, but I can't help but get a laugh out of his idiotic antics, great. But as long as I can make you feel something and, you know, give you a chance to escape for 2 or 3 hours, and the fact that I can give you that entertainment and I can get feedback from you guys, and you give that to me, that's all I can ask for anymore. So
there you go. That's always awesome to hear. And again, it goes back to that. It goes back to getting that reaction, getting that love and support from the fans. And again, just seeing how they react to it. But again, it's a boo, if it's a cheer, just see them react and know, hey, this is what we do it for.
Yeah, and then just having fun with everybody backstage, and you know, like just not don't want to deal. We have enough drama in our day-to-day life. We want to come into the locker room, have a great time, catch up, watch each other's matches, see what everybody's doing, support everybody. I mean, that's how I look at it. I know a lot of my friends are the same way, but some don't. But that's what I go to do anyway. I want to support everybody. I want everybody to do well. You know, not many people will say this, and I've seen it a lot of the good people's pages. You know, we need to support each other. You know, if the first match does well, if they're supported, if the sixth match, the company does well. Yep. And then we all do well in the process. That's what it all comes down to. We have to support each other, wish for the best for everybody, because the more somebody else does, if somebody else gets those on the card, great. More people are going to come to see them. Hopefully they'll look at us, but they're going to continue watching the product.
Definitely. And again, I always look at it, it's the well-oiled machine. Again, it's always having that support for not only your peers in the locker room, but again, making it work. Because again, it's as big as that first person coming in to that last person walking out of the ring. So
without question. Yeah. Well, yeah, whether it's Steve Mack in the main event, whether it's, you know, me and Ray in the middle, whether it's, you know, Danny Alexander kicking ass in the first match. I want whoever the people want to see, and like whoever's getting talked about, I want to see them go out there and do their thing, because people are going to come back like, oh man, I want to see that kid again, you know, Danny Alexander. Oh, you know, Ray and AJ, they, you know, they're freaking ass. I want to see them come back and get their ass kicked. Like, yo, Monster Mac is still doing this. Yo, I want to come out and see who the hell whose ass is going to kick next.
Definitely. And again, that's what you love to see.
It's that championship wrestling. So you're going to come back every month. And
there you go, Charlie. We're plugging it once again. There you go.
Yes.
Again, next Saturday, July 16th, be there. American Spirit. It's going to be a stacked card. I'll definitely be doing, I believe it's going to come out Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. I'm doing a whole breakdown of the card, letting you guys know everything that will be happening, and definitely going to touch on a little more of Ray Calidri and make sure I say the right thing so AJ doesn't send Ray after me on Saturday.
Yeah.
Because again, I'll be there as well. But again, go check out. It's going to be a great show. And then ending the month, July 30th, which, hey, it's going to be right after my birthday. So I'm definitely going to go and have some fun and enjoy. And again, catch a drink after. It's going to be BCW's anniversary. Go check that out. 5th anniversary show. Definitely, again, go see AJ. Go see the great talent. Brother, thank you again for coming on. It's been a blast getting to catch up with you. And I'll definitely be seeing you at the shows coming up.
Definitely. Great being on. Thank you for having me. And yeah, great seeing you again.
Likewise, brother. And again, everyone that's watching, thank you so much. As always, don't forget to also subscribe, guys. Share the podcast. Let everyone know to come check out Respect the Craft. And as always, don't forget to be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people. Respect the craft. And we'll see you on the next one.